Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 31. Today we're going to be playing a little bit of Poppy Galio. And so, where this deck is coming from is we've been playing quite a bit of Stony Suppressor these days. This is the core to the Scouts deck that I really love and enjoy. If you caught our previous video, or probably like 5 or 6 videos ago, you see us playing Scouts all the time to where Stony Suppressor is the big thing that no one else is doing. And as the format kind of shapes up here a little bit, the Sun Disk is starting to be on the decline. People have kind of figured out how to beat it and what's happening, and it's not out here just menacing all of the slower decks in the format. And so as the Sun Disk starts to fade away into the sunset, and we start to see the rise of these Victor decks and these Aphelios decks, they all get really punished by the likes of Stony Suppressor. And so Victor wants to be playing the 0 mana augments. He wants to be playing the 1 mana ballistic bot spell. Aphelios needs to churn off a bunch of spells to get the moon weapons going, then making the moon weapons more expensive. All in all, this is just a pretty powerful thing to be doing. Lots of Victor, lots of Riven. Riven Reforges hate seeing this thing on the board. And it's just a really great board stall. And so what we ask ourselves in Scouts is, how do we take these bad units like the Stony Suppressor, right? Nobody's writing home and talking about how excited they are for this 1/3 and make them relevant in the game. And so with Scouts, we do that with two things: with unit boosting. And so you're going to see 4 Demacias, you're going to see Cythria, you're going to see Genvivi, and then you're looking for rallies. So you can get multiple attacks, right? The way that you tend to beat all of these board stall decks is you either have to attack around them with elusives, you have to attack through them with overwhelms, or you have to attack twice with rallies. And we're using the attack twice method here with the Relentless Pursuit and the Golden Aegis. And so we aren't playing all of the 4 Demacia based cards as we were with the Scouts. We do still have quite a bit of unit boosting in here. Poppy being the main new form that we're seeing here. The attack to give all of our units +1/+1 is pretty powerful. Getting rally attacks with Poppy is quite strong as well. And so in place of something like Cythria, in place of 4 Demacia, we're going to see Poppy. Then we're also playing the Vanguard Bannerman as a quick board boost, something that we can play on, say, like turn 6, where we also add like a Durand Sculptor and a Bannerman, get a big boost across all of our units. And so that is the kind of core idea. Is we aren't this really like ultra aggressive deck. Like, we aren't playing Pirates, we aren't playing Elise Burn, right? We can get aggressive draws to where we control the early board with like a Fleet Feather Tracker into a Bright Steel Protector or whatever, but this is a deck that can also take advantage of just building up some board and then getting giant bonuses off of the Bannerman and the Poppy. And so that's kind of the general idea. We do still play some spells in the Sharp Sight and the Ranger's Resolve. This is just some of the best interactivity in the game. And then we still have this really powerful early game challengers package between the Broadwing, the Bright Steel Protector, and the Fleet Feather Tracker. And so that's what we'll be bringing. Let's go ahead and jump on in. I've checked to see if we need to pay the pay-to-win price today. It has been paid. The debt has been filled. The only non-premiums we have here today are going to be Poppy and Galio. And so we're going to go ahead and just assume that our debt has been paid and jump on into the battles. And so let's get in here and have some fun. This is a pretty cool deck. I think it's really nice to get these Poppy attacks going, see the whole team grow. It's just one of the more powerful things you can do. So, okay, up against Action Sivir. This is like, Action Sivir is one of these decks to where it doesn't work with the Stony Suppressor, right? You really need to be able to play like a Shape Stone on action early. You need to be churning out the spells to get your Warlord's hordes up and online. And it's just, you can't really do like, hey, let's play the Absolver twice if we have a Stony Suppressor on the board. And so you can. It's just tough to do. It's not really synergizing with your strategy to play the suppressors there. But pretty reasonable start here. Lots of high-powered challengers to get things going. I'm going to skip on hooking in the Treasure Seeker, we can still get some pretty powerful attacks. Like if he wants to say play action this turn, then we can just take the 2 damage from the Treasure Seeker, and then just wait a little bit. Right? He plays a Broadwing, which is okay. We'll add our own Broadwing to the board. I assume he's going to challenge our tracker, but we can still get the shutdown on the Treasure Seeker. Maybe get a quick attack challenge next turn with the Yordle Smith. Okay, he just goes directly into our Broadwing. That's fine. What do we got? The big Bannerman draw. Okay, let's see what happens. Action Severed, they do have... Oh, Kitty, come on. they do have some like 3/3s. Some versions play the 4 Demacia Maker. All of them play Vicaran Vagabond. And so we may not be able to attack this turn, but if he comes out and says like drops an action, then we're most certainly just going to ravage him with the Fleet Feather Tracker. This is a pretty reasonable shutdown from him. Let's just go ahead and pass. Again, like as we were mentioning, you can just come out here and just build up board. Right now that we're getting this set up, we can say add Poppy here. Next turn, we can look to bring in the Bannerman. This is one of these like awkward spaces with the Bannerman, and that this is like kind of the prime time place to play. We need to grow our board a little bit so we could put 3/3s in front of action and in front of the Treasure Seeker. But as we go into the next turn, Poppy's not going to boost any of our units. I think we still just have to do it or we're going to fall too far behind on board. But it is a little bit awkward when we boost all of our board to 3 attack units with Poppy just hanging out in our hand. Still pretty good chance she comes down next turn, but would be nice if we could have sequenced this a little differently. Just taking this. It's not. I'm okay with like blocking the Brightsteel Protector, but like we're about to go ham next turn, right? We're gonna drop the Fleet Feather and the Bannerman. Everything is just going to be bigger. Don't really want to be losing these units to a Shapestone right before they pop off. It's unfortunate, but sure. All right, here comes my set of quick attackers. My dude's big, bro. we got a little bit more size. The Yordles aren't tiny anymore. Okay. Not awesome, but sure. Felt much better if we got a quick attack in this turn. It is nice that he had to spend all of his mana on the Concerted Strike, but definitely not how we wanted that turn to play out. Okay, now we have a Bannerman to potentially boost this Poppy with. I think we'll feel pretty decent as well if he just like goes Predict, which he did. You know, it's kind of scary if he's like, alright, well I'm ready to drop a Waking Sands on you, but just having the Predict come down is fine. Okay. So he's bringing everybody. Now, if he has, like, the things we have to worry about, right, are Shapestone, Sharpsight, and the Absolver. I'm just going to 100% assure you he has at least one of them. And so I'm going to put, like, this block with the Bannerman. I'm going to put a block in with Poppy. And then just accept that there's a reasonable chance we lose Poppy this turn. I'm not quite willing. Can we just take a 5 here? Because we are about to get full boarded again next turn. What if we like leave Poppy back and block here? Then he's probably going to combat trick our Bannerman. Only leaves us with 2 units. I don't like that. I think we still end the day with 3 units like this. And he probably protects his action and doesn't take down Poppy. Now, if he has double Shapestone, we're just fucked. But I assume that this is just going to either be a Sharpsight or an Absolver. Yeah, same thing. Okay. Okay, we can get a full boarded Bannerman this turn. Looks pretty good. So assuming he doesn't have any interactivity, he's already played one Cataclysm, he's played one Concerted Strike. They tend to play a handful of these things, but he should be pretty light on removal. Usually just play like one or two of a single combat / Cataclysm kind of card, and then they tend to play two Concerted Strikes. And so I'm not ultra worried about our Poppy getting blocked here. So she is just going to die to something, though. I think that's completely fine. Let's just make sure we take down action. Get in with everyone else. Does she? I mean, she'll grow. Yeah, she's only going to grow to 3. Okay. It's lethal. He has to make the block with the Vagabond to take down the Bannerman. But lots of power happening out here. Still not, guaranteed to be out of the woods. Something like Sivir would be pretty annoying, like Sivir and the Absolver. Pretty reasonable way to close out the game, but looking pretty strong. There's the first half of it. But he would have specifically needed to hit all 3, right? If he has the Absolver, this is kind of annoying. Let's get the Stony Suppressor down. If he plays the Absolver twice on Sivir and gets to pop the Warlord's Horde and then generate a unit, that's all kind of shitty for us, right? But now that we've got the Suppressor on the board, that shuts it all down. Oof. Oh, friend. Welcome to seeing the what a timely Stony Suppressor. Now he can't play the Sentinel's Horde and it just has to get discarded. LOL. Alright, we'll block with the Stony Suppressor here. You just did work. Nobody believes in you, Stony Suppressor. We're the only ones, but oh shit. Oh man, that was on me. We shouldn't let him do that. It's okay, but oh man. I got so hype and then almost just ruined it all. Play Galio here? Why not? He has to take his turn to rally Sivir, and we're just gonna win the game anyways. I mean, Golden Aegis is not the play here. Look at this meaty fucker. Man. I haven't done too much Galio playing, but I'm all about a rally, so I appreciate the work you do, my friend. There it is. 1-0. GG. Pretty cool start. Good. I like it when these game ones showcase a lot of what our deck is capable of. So when everybody just quits after the first game, you at least got to see some of the cool stuff. Oh man, almost got 69 LP. Not quite there, but almost nice. Okay. Round 2 begin. This is the longest we've had to wait on a match in ages. Does everyone quit? Is this a dead game? We had to wait 17 seconds on a game. Nobody plays this anymore. All right, reasonable enough start. We do have to be coming out the gates against these sea monster stacks, and I think this is a reasonable enough start. We can answer. Maybe we get rid of the protege. I would like to find some kind of unit boosting, be it a Poppy or a Lulu, and so. The protege doesn't do a ton here. Didn't mulligan well, but it's okay. Just gonna go ahead and slam into this thing. We're not gonna have the time to make the Fleet Feather Tracker good, and then they don't play too many units that it can relevantly hook. So if we had a Bright Steel Protector, we could have thought a little bit differently, but. I think that he just never matters. The Sea Scarab is the unit that really matters, and we should be able to take it down with the Broadwing. Now, we could have played the Broadwing this turn, right, to go ahead and challenge the Sea Scarab. I'm not the hugest fan of it. The damage they deal just doesn't really matter. Like, as long as we stay over 13, I don't really care. They tend to play Atrocity for their Nautilus, but it's not super important, this couple points of damage that we just took. No, double Sea Scarab's bad. I'm gonna go turbo on the deep here. Well, he did lose 2 AoEs. That's kind of nice. Okay, well, we're gonna have our power spike next turn, and so he's getting pretty close to deep, but I think we're gonna be strong enough to attack around it. He can't vengeance our Poppy, which is huge. Withering Way. Oh, Vile Feast, yeah. Who doesn't know the name Laurent? Okay. Boomed it. Feels good. Feels good. I'm curious if sea monsters will ever be a thing again. It's not particularly good in the current meta. Like kind of how we were talking about at the beginning of the video, where you have to either go around or go through or rally attack. Just sea monsters can't do that. So maybe one day they'll have more of the fearsome theme attached to them. I think that's like a pretty healthy idea, both like lore-wise and thematically, right? You have the big scary monsters from the depths of the ocean, and they all get fearsome once you hit deep. I think that's what they need. I think the Abyssal Horror, or whatever it is, that expensive epic one, is right on track both thematically and kind of lore-wise, and probably something similar to what they need to be relevant. It's just like they still suffer for that problem of just gets blocked by Conchologist, right? That's what we talked about quite a bit in our Yetis video. Is your game plan is working, everything's going fine, you're getting your cheap Yetis on the board, and your opponent is like, yeah, I'll just block it with Conchologist. No big deal, my dude. And so, all right, I'm like half tempted to not play the Fleet Feather Tracker here to just bank up into Ranger's Resolve, but we should get like a good Ranger's Resolve bank on turn 3, and so I think this is okay. The Yordle Smith is kind of interesting. It's like if we play Yordle Smith and he just plays Caitlyn, then we're kind of hosed for the turn. So maybe we do just have to play Broadwing. We still get like reasonable hooks this turn, even if we don't get to play towards the Caitlyn. And this might actually be a space to where we want to Ranger's Resolve. I'm not completely opposed to sending the Fleet Feather Tracker into the Spiderling to get a good hook. He plays a spell here. Well, that's not a spell we can play around. See if he just baits into it. This is like a highly, highly suspect attack, right? This should be a pretty reasonable read. I think the way that we should have probably done this was to attack, pause for like half a second, and then emote. That would have maybe done it. Or if we played without auto pass enabled, so it doesn't just stop with us on 1 mana, that may have been reasonable as well. But that's the kind of play that you might be able to pull off at your Friday Night Magic, but you probably shouldn't be able to do in Masters. But still looking reasonably powerful here, right? We can curve out the Durand Sculptor into the Yordle Smith, follow up with a Vanguard Bannerman next turn. Looks pretty powerful. I'm probably going to Ranger's Resolve this Mystic Shot, though. Well, this doesn't play around it. You can just Mystic Shot the small one now. I think this is okay. I think he's well aware that we have the Ranger's Resolve in hand. That's okay. Oh, what a perfect draw. Doesn't get more perfecter than that. Where's our Stony Suppressors? This is one of these matchups where it's quite nice. We're usually not super excited to be playing against Caitlyn Ezreal, but the Stony Suppressor is quite good. And it's not even like a matter of just completely shutting them down. If they have to play an expensive Get Excited or play 6 mana worth of Mystic Shots and stuff just to try and stop the combat, it's pretty big. Alright, enjoy these attacks. Pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Ravenous Flock hit our bird, but pretty strong otherwise. Uh-huh. The old Bright Steel, he's coming down this turn. Probably go ahead and just protect the Duran Sculptor. The Yordle Smith should be out of range of pretty much everything. He can hit it with a Thermogenic Beam, but does that change things if we want to block with Caitlyn now? I think so. Calling Strike, that shit's annoying. Okay. I guess it's at least good to see the Calling Strike hit right before we drop Galio. So, I guess the level of complaining we do needs to be kept into a little bit of check.
Give me a day and you'll have 2.
The Pharaoh's Financer, sure. We're pretty close to just flipping this Galio. Like, is it a world to where we just like don't attack with him? Or we don't attack at all. Like if we take, well, we can look to just Ranger's Resolve. This could be the turn we do it just to try and ensure the Galio flip happens. But if he's going to come out here and have like more burn spells, it's probably not going to work in terms of stopping it. But I mean, he's hitting for 6 damage. We could prevent 3 of it, and that would have us exactly at a Galio flip. And then he's going to have to like play spells onto our units, which he can't kill, to drop it down. I guess the way like that kind of idea falls apart is if he has a Scorched Earth. It's probably not super compelling to go about it that way. So he's flipping his Ezreal. Okay. Seems like we're fairly safe. I mean, we're at 19 at this point. He only has 3 cards in hand. He's gonna have to do quite a bit of work to get a burn out. I guess one of his cards is an expensive 6-cost spell. This is usually when they're like, Progress Day. But it's okay. What up, Lulu? You get attack with that Ezreal. There you go. I guess you have to worry about a sharp sight, but he should firmly be in a place to where you have to have something go right, or you're just going to lose the game. That's the stuff. A little scary with the Broadwing getting hit, but bring in one of these. We could have gone for the kill here, but I think it's pretty pretty easy for him to have a way to take down one of our units. Getting him to 1 at this point. No. Yeah, looking strong, looking good. Uh-oh. He's going for the Galio kill. He's probably just gonna get hit with Calling Strike. Let's put the barrier onto Lulu. Still haven't seen a Scorched Earth this game. I think that's probably what's going to get pointed at. The fuck? Reckoning? Oh, God. Okay. I guess I should have known to play around that. I should have known to see Weapons of the Lost coming and then an incoming Reckoning. Oh my fucking God. That's one way to get out of it. What a fucking joke. Wow. Okay. I guess that's one way to get him. But, I mean, we could have made a different attack there at the end, of course, right? We could have, instead of boosting up our... instead of boosting up our Challenger, we could have boosted up one of our 3 attack units, perhaps gotten a kill that way. But, you know, if you were anticipating a Pharaoh's Financier into Weapons of the Lost and then a second one into the Reckoning, then you're doing better than me. I'm curious what order you actually hit those in, as to right, Reckoning's just a dead card, so you have to pick it up with your second one, but then you also need to have that 5 attack unit, and so you have to hit the 5 attacker with your early play. Well done, dude. Well done. I guess that's all you can say. But here, up against scouts, I'm usually good to just mulligan away the Stony Suppressors. We hit one on the flip side anyways. That's fine. We'll make do.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
Don't think he'll attack here, but if he does, I'm happy enough to Rangers resolve this down. All right. Who doesn't know the name Laurent? Uh-oh. Do I really want to play Misfortune? Oh, where are you at? Wrong one. Oh, that was silly. We shouldn't have made this attack. I don't like this anymore. The sharp sight? I want to take it all back. I just kind of had in my head that we would be able to get a little bit happening here, and I was wrong. I'll readily admit that one. Misfortune would be a real pain in the dick here. I don't want to have to drop the Vanguard Bannerman, but if he plays Misfortune, we're going to have to. I occasionally deviate from making the world's best plays to making only the second or the third best play. It happens, you know. Okay, not that bad. I was worried that we were going to get our Bannerman popped with the +2 cost. That really shuts down our power next turn, but he didn't hit it. He put the +2 cost onto Brightsteel Protector, which makes sense. Definitely happy to whittle down some of this health, especially as we're going to be making a quick attack hit with essentially our entire board. Okay, so if we attack, the only person we have not getting quick attack will be the Brightsteel Protector, but I'm happy enough to trade it with any of his units, so let's come in with everybody. He doesn't have anything that really survives this attack. I don't quite care about the Island Navigator, because we're not... If we could get the, like, guaranteed to get the scout units off of the board, then I would go for the Island Navigator, but I just don't think that's going to be enough. So we'll take the stronger unit and the Duran Sculptor down. Surprised he didn't block our Bright Steel, but it's okay. Alright, let's see if he opens or makes scout attacks. I'd love to get another Bannerman on board before he really does anything. Cool. It's pretty good if you ask me. Alright, taking down our quick attacker makes sense. You gotta have good blocks on pretty much all of this stuff. Do we even want to bother blocking Cytherea? I think we do. We can easily refill the board next turn. They're pretty healthy though. Well, I guess if we put the block onto Cytherea, we can hook her next turn with the Protege. Wouldn't be surprised to see like a Sharp Sight or something come down here, as long as we're not getting popped by Ranger's Resolve. Yeah, we could have blocked a little differently. He's going to get to keep his Otterpuss now. But not horrible. It would have felt a lot worse if he played Sharp Sight and took down our Protege, I think.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves. I've got your back.
Alright, let's get this board in here. I'm ready for the battle portion of the game. Attacks, please. Be a barrier rally. It's okay. It's not super ideal, but he has to block, and he's going to lose both of his smaller units. I guess the downside is if well, this is okay. We're just at lethal here, right? Because he didn't add a unit to the board. He blocks both of our 4s. Takes 8 damage from the remaining units. Got him. GG. He probably forgot to add Stony Suppressor to his deck. We're going to see it. One day we're going to see an opponent playing the Stony Suppressor, and we're going to say, someone got the memo. Ooh. All right, feeling pretty good. Halfway through. Pretty good set of victories. Our one loss was kind of weird, and so I think this is working out quite nicely. Okay. Tokens tends to be a problem. We'll see if we can't handle it, but usually a deck that's pretty strong against us. The Stony Suppressors don't really matter. We don't want to have to be doing a ton of blocking, and kind of overall weaker matchup. It is nice to have the likes of Duran Sculptor, though. Lets us get some extra blocks onto the sand tokens and the blade dances and such. Okay, this one's fine. We'll most certainly try and take down the Green Glade duo with our Petricite Broadwing, but this is where the problems that their deck brings for us. Now, we do have 2 Sharp Sights in hand, so hopefully we don't have to worry about the duo too much. But that's the definite problem card for us. They have a pretty weak draw up to this point. They didn't lead off with the Sparring Student. Alright, he brings in the Diaz. I think we're safe to just go ahead and drop Poppy. There is a world where he doesn't attack here. Hey, more Green Glade duos. All right. I must say now, that looks pretty good for us. This is how you can come in and beat the tokens. So I think we just want to get 2 units on the board as opposed to the bannerman. So let's put the barrier onto our challenger. I don't really worry about losing Poppy this turn. She should be pretty safe at 3/3. We have the Ranger's Resolve in hand. We have the Broadwing to hook something. And so I don't think we need to worry about her. He just plays 1 card. Doesn't feel horrible to just, well, we're going to Ranger's Resolve, aren't we?
Hope you're sturdy. Stay still.
More than one way to pick a pine cone, am I right?
My steel is yours.
Okay.
Needs a finishing touch.
Nope, not you. I want to hook the Blossoming Blade. You can block whatever you want to with Azir. Okay. Just takes it, so he's gonna have to lethal us next turn. Looks pretty good. Well, I guess he doesn't have to. We can get some blockers going, but he's gonna be hurting.
Dark times come and go. We play on.
One banner, one destiny.
Showtime.
Uh-oh, there's the Azir flip.
Past and present. Arise. It is time. Arise.
No closer.
Don't back down.
Let's at least stop and think about this instead of just slamming everything. Let's put the little damage on our Yordlesmith. Okay.
Show them our metal.
Steady hands.
Is there anyone that we like particularly care about hooking? I mean, this is we can take the big unit. It's the most threatening to our guys, and
We're all tied up.
we'll at least get a good hook in there.
Don't like your tone.
Coming in for 9. They have like homecoming kind of cards, so we may not be able to lethal with the weaker sharp sight. All right, we can only hit for 4. Let's take down the Azir though. Attempt to take down the Azir, I should say. They have like twin disciplines as well. Lead and follow, sure. We're going to be a little bit short. We really needed to end the game on that turn.
A little reinforcement at the sea.
LOL can't duet anymore. It's not ultra relevant there, but you know, why not take a little bonus? Really try to grind it out of them. Got him. Excellent. Nice little record. Nice little climb that we've started to assemble here today. Okay, and weird. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I've always gotten the surveys in the email, but if you see the surveys, take them. You know, this was like for my expedition followers, what I thought was the most important thing you could be doing, like going and posting shit on Reddit and posting shit on Twitter and harassing the devs and making a stink and this and that. It doesn't matter that much. Like the devs are all very in tune with what is happening in the pulse of the meta, and they have the statistics on everything. But I do tend to say things like hold the devs accountable, right? And the people doing that, are going to be like the accountants and the VP of finance and the real businessy kind of people. And what I mean when they say hold the devs accountable is not like get your fucking pitchfork out and make them do what you want them to do, but just in terms of you want to say something like why are you supporting Expedition? Right? They say the VP of finance isn't going to be rolling around on fucking Reddit reading about how these dipshits don't like, they don't like this or they don't like that. They're not going to be that in tune with things. And the thing they are going to be in tune with is the market research. And so when I say hold the devs accountable, then, the dev has to go to the VP of finance and say, hey, we're looking at the numbers and Expedition is doing god awful. Why are you all still continuing to support it, right? That's the kind of accountability that they have to hold. And then when they say things like, hey, we look at the market research and it looks like all the people that spend money play Path of Champions. Why aren't we supporting more Path of Champions? And that's what you tend to see. And that's why, the format gets pushed forward as they, I'm sure, use end-game metrics and see the amount of play time and retention and all that. But the market research surveys are very important, and they really shape up what comes into the game a lot. If you really like the skins, and they're going to be like, well, why are we going to invest in more skins if people don't buy these anyways? Or why are we going to make a Katarina skin when no one plays Katarina? Like it's like everything kind of all ties together, and it takes away that emotional aspect that is posting stuff on Reddit and puts real and hard numbers to it. And so I'm going to push the button. I'm going to go and take it. But if you see these things pop up, you should feel compelled to do so as well. All right, that was an interesting one. I guess I could have just left that one up on the screen as we took it, but it is just asking about the matchups we've played recently and how we feel about them. Pretty interesting. It didn't ask me how much Stony Suppressor do you play, and are you the best person in the world to talk about Stony Suppressor? Yes, I am. Breaking the metas left and right. FTP bust out here. But no, it is. This is fine. We'll wait on a quick attack challenge next turn. But it is asking how do you feel like the matchups are balanced, and then why do you not like it? I feel like the meta is very healthy. I don't feel like there's any decks that are over the top powerful. I do have a couple of problems with the format, in that I don't like that Targon's Peak is a real deck. I don't think that level of high rolliness should be existent in the format, right? You're playing the deck to where, oh Jesus, well done, guy. You're playing the deck to where you have an extremely hard time winning if you just don't draw Targon's Peak, and then you also, if you play the games to where you hit a turn 5 Targon Peak, and then you hit, or turn 4 Targon Peak because you ramped, and then a turn 5 Aurelian Soul, then you're going to win. But if you, don't hit your cards in the right order and stuff, then you just lose. It doesn't feel like you're playing a really compelling and interesting matchup. It just feels like, I'm gonna do this. This is fine, I think. Let's get the Stony Suppressor down. Oh, he drew his fucking crystal. But it doesn't feel like you're playing a really fun and interactive matchup. Then the other one is you can't crystal anymore. Interesting. I think the Mono Sharima deck is fine in terms of balance. I really just don't want to watch all of the cutscenes. Just I wish there was a way to cut that out or whatever, but kind of is what it is. Here, I think we're going to be running into another -2 attack thing onto our Larent Protege. Like, why else would he play Echo into the face of the Larent Protege? Oh, I guess this is why. Just ready to get aced. Okay. Oh, the Echo was going to flip. I didn't see that. I never pay attention to this stuff. That one's on me, I guess. We should have paid a little bit more attention to the Echo. Still in a reasonable enough spot. He does have the crystal in hand. That's another card I just don't like. It's just like when you play like Magic, and you have the cards like when you're shuffling your deck. If you want to cast the spell, then I think that's completely fine. But I really don't like these cards to where it's like, hey, if you high roll your predict, then you get something for free. And the power level of something like Drop Border is just kind of like, you know, whatever, fine. You got a one attack unit. Hitting these AoE spells like Hexite Crystal just never feels good. So that would be pretty cool if this card didn't exist either.
All coming back to me now.
All right, and then I think we're going to have to bank into this Sharp Sight mana if we want to play around the crystal. It's not awesome, but... Okay.
Every work demands a piece of ourselves.
So, like, the downside to this is we're not going to be able to Sharp Sight if we want to Poppy, but... That's going to have to be fine.
Wouldn't be a quest without some danger.
Gonna have to be fine.
I've been practicing, and it's not perfect. But look,
If your prediction is correct, we have much to look forward to.
I've got your back.
Okay, so we can do something like this. We're going to end up losing our Lulu, which is okay. Everything else gets appropriately boosted. That's fine.
listen to me.
Just a moment.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, come on, kitty. Are you just going to meow and meow and meow? Come on. Come on. You want to be on the internet? Here we go. It's this one. It's the dumb one. He's not very smart, but she's still a delightfully nice kitty. Oh, he hit the time trick thing. I don't know. I just don't have fun with this matchup. I also like it's tough in that I don't like predict as a mechanic. I think it's fine if there's only like one or two cards. You know, it could be kind of interesting at that point. But when the entirety of your deck is just based on predict, and I have to sit here and wait while you make 30-second decisions on every single predict, it frustrates me as well. Let me tell you about the things that Old Man Bust gets salty about. All right, what is this? Trundle, Tryndamere, the ramp deck? Sure. I'm going to lead off with the Broadwing here. Well, we should probably just go with the Yordle. Oh, shit. With the Yordle Smith. It's like, if he drops any of his twos, like if he plays the 2-1 that draws a card, or if he plays a whatchamacallit, a thingamajig. If he plays a... I can't remember the name. Oh, the Frostbite Archer. That's the one I was going for. It just shuts everything down as well. But the Yordle Smith can attack into the 2-1 at least.
Break their spirits and their souls.
Okay. We're reasonably set up to deal with AoEs as well. Let's go ahead and lead with a Protect onto the Yordle Smith. Then I'm looking to play the Broadwing after.
These are troll
I've got your back.
Okay, just damage. Get him for 8. It's pretty good. No AoEs coming in. Our Bright Steels are still safe. We have good avalanche protection with the Ranger's Resolve. We do get popped by a Blighted Ravine, but we can play around it.
can see the Devastian border from here. Remember what I told you?
Swing low, send 'em sky high. I'll make you
It's
proud.
never blocking. Let's get that out of here. And now we're ready for next turn. We got We got our dudes ordered in the appropriate way. There's the Blighted Ravine. Okay. So we'll do Broadwing. If he has the Avalanche like right now, it sucks a lot for us. But if he doesn't, and we get our Broadwing up to 5 attack and take down the Trundle, that's going to be pretty choice.
For the glory of Demacia.
That looks good, right? I did the mathematics on how good that looks, and it's at least an 80. Maybe it's an 85. I don't know. It's pretty good. Looks pretty good to me. Is that how we want to go about it? It's like if we get hit with the Troll Chant, that would be the kind of downside to this one. Because both of our challengers are going to grow. I mean, you technically survive against a...
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
Do it this way. Keep more health up on the Broadwing. The Protege still takes down Trundle. If he has the Troll Chant, then it's okay. Flash freeze, sure. Now Galio is going to look pretty good when we have this Broadwing on the board, having multiple units ready to strike down Trundle. All right, Trundle animations happening. Say what up, Galio.
You are definitely the hero.
You can hook the Bannerman if you want. We're still gonna flip, right? We're pretty well lined up to do it. Oh, you did grow. Are we still gonna flip? Or we're over by 1? Okay. Now we can vengeance our Galio should he want. Alright, so how many AoEs has that been? I think he's played 2 Avalanches and 2... 2 Blighted Ravines. Do I have to come in with another? Feel the rush. Oh, man. So how bad is this? We can't lethal this turn. We can get some decent attacks, right? We can kill Trundle with the Broadwing. We can kill the Ice Pillar with Poppy. That'll still help all of our units grow. And then if he gets too clever next turn, we still have the Poppy flip to potentially take down one of these other champions. Okay.
When do we get to the punches?
But if he opens, we're dead. Well, we can block. We got 8 + 4, 12 health we can throw in front of this stuff. We're not necessarily dead. Okay, well, this might work out. Maybe.
This'll be a slaughter.
Yeah, this is definitely not as good. Not as good as I was hoping.
Beat down. Beauty thing.
All right, we're dead. So that one's not as bad. It's like, as I was talking about with like the Targon's Peak matchups, I think like the ramp is okay. I personally don't like playing ramp decks because I feel like they're just too high rolly in terms of it's very easy to draw no ramp and just a bunch of expensive stuff, or you know, you have to get your ramp early, and then you have to have your board control, and then you have to have your payoff. And if you draw things out of order, then you just lose the game. I'm like kind of okay with that. I don't like Targon's Peak though. I think Targon's Peak is a card that is fine that it exists, but it should be tuned to where it's never competitive. All right, what was this? Kindred, Elise, Vi. Okay, do we want to lead with the Yordle Smith? I'm not exactly sure on the collection of units they're going to be bringing at us. I know that they probably do the stupid ambush stuff to a degree, but I can't attack. You can't take Elise down with a sharp sight, though, if that's what turns up next turn. Oh, the Sentinels. Okay.
You're covered.
Let's see where this gets us. It might, dissuade him from attacking with Elise, but it's okay. Now it's kind of in this odd space to maybe he changes his mind because we can't sharp sight anymore. But I think it's still okay if he attacks. I guess this could be bad. These decks tend to not play go hard. Like if he has a go hard for our 2-1 here, that's gonna suck a lot of butt. But we're pretty safe. I don't think they usually play it. A beam. Okay. Well, that's annoying. That one is annoying. What a Broadwing. You showed up at an opportune time. So how do we want to go about this? We have to go for the Sculptor into the Broadwing if we want to take down the Buru. The downside to this setup is we can't... this is brutal. We can't take down the Elise. So we're going to have to pivot a little bit. We can still hook Elise with the Broadwing. And then if he has another Mystic Shot, then you've had it. I guess there are a lot of ways for this to go poorly. Okay. Let's just give it a turn. Like, I'm not super excited about having these smaller units just hanging out, but nothing about this is going well. Our favorite card ever, Kindred. Okay, we should be getting a reasonable enough sharp sight this turn. He only has 1 mana at this point. He's played 2 Thermogenic Beams, so I don't think we'll have to worry about that anymore. Have to boost the Broadwing to take down Kindred, so that'll be a thing. Kind of want to protect our units where we can here. We're going to drop the Bannerman next turn, so maybe we come like this so we can weaken up the Buru Sentinel. Just take 2 from Elise, and then try and get a good Bannerman attack in next turn. Oh shit, forgot about that being a thing. I forgot about Kindred's quick attack. I thought we were just going to be big enough to take her down. F. F, they say. F.
Remember what I told you?
Swing low, send 'em sky high. I'll make you proud.
Alright. Let's see if we can't fix this. I feel like we've tossed this one away. But yeah. Okay. Alright. We're done. We can't answer that, Poppy. So we didn't finish off as strong as we started, but I think this is still looking pretty good. Like if you take the look at the games where we won them handily. If you take a look at the games where we lost, we did lose to the Reckoning out of the Noxus deck. That was just ridiculous. We lost to the Trundle deck, which granted isn't a great matchup, but they also ramped into 4 AoEs and were right on the verge of losing. And so that's a matchup to where it's not like a super great one, but it's like the way I feel about it is if you're playing a deck like that, it needs to like be really polarized and just annihilate its good matchups. and it just doesn't have those good matchups, right? It just gets completely crushed by the Sun Disc, and then like we're in this meta to where people can't play control decks because the Sun Disc exists, and if you're going to be good against the control decks, why aren't you just playing the Sun Disc, right? And so it's like, what are you hoping to hit in playing the ramp deck that is going to be a good matchup for you if your aggro deck matchups aren't like 60-40 in your favor? I just think it's a terrible deck choice these days, but it sometimes draws four AoEs and just crushes you. And then that last match we played pretty terrible. I haven't played against too much of the Sentinels. I tried some of the Sentinels with the Jace version and just didn't like it. Maybe it's a little bit better in terms of the Kindred version, but I'm not sure how that one really stands. But we also played that one quite poorly. But it's still a pretty interesting deck, in my opinion. I think it's good, especially as we look at, say, like that last matchup there where we run into the Sentinels. Basically, any deck in the format that either has Mystic Shot in it or a deck that has Aphelios in it is really going to struggle with the Stony Suppressor. We didn't draw too much of her there in the late games. Would have been nice to kind of showcase her against the ramp decks, as you tend to, like, if you mess up their mana by 1 or 2, you just completely end their game. So that would have been good there. It would have been good in the very last matchup against the Mystic Shots deck, but we just didn't draw her. I was really, really glad we got that one game in at the very beginning where we got to showcase the strength of the Stony Suppressor. And kind of my opinion as well, the way that the current state of the cards in the game, there's not a lot of like 2-drops to pick from within Demacia, and in a lot of ways she's just better than a lot of the other options. Like I could see wanting to take her out for something like the dude that makes 4 Demacias, but she just like shuts down so many matchups. And so all in all, I was pretty happy with how this played out. I thought these were like not the greatest set of games. We didn't draw too many of our rallies. We didn't draw too many Stony Suppressors. We were mainly showcasing the power between the challengers and the bannerman and the unit growing and all of that stuff. But I think this is still a pretty powerful deck, and I might be looking to bring this into the gauntlet in the next one we do. I'm still like tinkering in my head how we can't assemble like a triple Demacia lineup where every deck plays Stony Suppressor. But that might be a little over the top. We might need a few more cards out there to where we can have the champions working and all of the unit boosting working and everything. But it swirls around in my brain piece as something we could do. It's one of the cards I really enjoy. But that is going to do it. I had a good time here. I hope everyone else enjoyed the run. You maybe learned, what could you have learned today? I hope you learned how to hit appropriately off of your Pharaoh's Financiers. It's not something we're doing, but you can learn from your opponents as time goes on. Hope you learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust and me. Thank you for being here.